Hello, everyone. Hope you're all doing well. Although there's no one here, but I like to talk to myself once in a while. So that's what I would be doing tonight, regardless if you're there or not. Because the way human being actually can advance is to understand his own psyche. So how better can you understand your psyche other than than communicating with it? How do you do that? You talk to yourself like me. And then some people will call you crazy, and that is perfectly within their rights. And some people call you someone who has a live stream and nobody's there. Then, so where are you all lazy asses? Where the hell are you? Here I am for about an hour. I want to spend some time here. If you guys are up to it, show up. Mako, UK, say evening. It is actually evening, and it is morning there. Or is UK is just part of your screen name? So remember the protocol. Let me know your gender, age, where you're tuning in from, so I have some kind of an idea who I'm speaking with. Mazakaral says, I'm here. Meran, hello. Good to see you. I was beginning to feel very, very singular. Problem of singularity in the universe. All right. So we have Jeffrey Skelton says, good evening, Meran. Jeff Mail 34 Toronto. Thank you for that, Jeff. And Meiko says, hi, sir. Sorry. Yeah. Morning from UK. All right. Then how about gender and age? You're going to trickle it down, the info. Jeffrey says, hard to believe next month it's 2 years since I've discovered your channel. Well, it's hard to believe for me, not for you, because I've been around for 10, 11 years. Where the hell have you been? This is why I say I really need you guys to promote the channel, because we're hardly found. People don't find us, or somehow algorithm is not kind to us, or I don't know, shadow banned, or whatever the hell it is. So let's get over it and promote the channel to the hilts and somehow let people know we're here. We're here to stay and we're here to help. But if we can't reach them, we can't help them. Therefore, let's reach them. Let's reach out. All right, I'm in a goofy mood. I actually did some nice job. I prepared a nice dinner solo by myself, and I did some ideas that it worked. So I put some olive oil in the pan, and put the steak on it and let it gently go at it. And I had cooked white potatoes, yellow potatoes earlier on. So once the steak was almost ready, like three-fourths or almost ready, I put the baked potatoes or cooked potatoes, poached potatoes in, mashed it a little bit because it was so soft, and let it actually fry in that bit of an olive oil that's still at the bottom of the pan. Slowly. So the potatoes were mixed with crispy potatoes, golden brown potatoes, and soft potatoes. And of course, I was planning to have some vegetables on the side of the dish. I said, "Oh, forget it. This just looks too delicious." So I had some balsamic vinegar with some Italian garlic bread, not bread, biscuits. I prepared my stomach for the steak and the potatoes. And once that was done, I brought the masterpiece and I enjoyed both. The steak was well done, and I mean, done well. and the potatoes were nice and soft and yet crunchy and crispy at points. There we go. This was my masterclass. And of course, I have the amazing tea, and I'm just about to fall asleep. Especially because I had a workout as well, and I had a cardio half an hour as well. So I'm kind of pooped. And I just did a trimmed with video, and I was tossing up between watching Star Trek or talking to you guys. You guys won't. And I might go for a walk later on. Now you know everything. So, Cap is male 19, Washington. Oh, DC or state? All right. Mako UK say, I got a question. Mako, are you going to answer me finally or not? Gender, age, and where you tuning in from? Of the three, I only have one. UK. That's all. So I need the other two before I get to your question. Thank you. Merci beaucoup. What else? Spasiba. Danke. Merci. I usually know a lot more, but I just drew a blank. Grazie. All right. It's not coming to me. I'm too slow tonight. So, Toce. And what else? Arigatou gozaimashita. So, what else? Let's see. Well, there we go. There we go. Mako, London, male, 36. Was that too hard? For heaven's sake. All right. Alex Shafin, lifestyle. This is India, 22 male. Thank you for that. So blasted. Says, I slept with a girl and now I'm emotionally attracted. Oh my God. Well, that's good news. Cool says, why are you so sweet? I probably had too much sugar. That's I don't know. And so blasted says, I won't lie, I'm always falling for women too fast. Any advice? No, don't change. It's all right. Women are to be fallen for. So, Dimitrios, male, California. Thank you for that. All right. So we go to Mako. It says, I got a question about intrusive thoughts. Only one? That's intrusive on its own. Because intrusive thoughts come in bunches. Says, can you actually recover from intrusive thoughts? There's nothing to recover. That's the problem. You think you got to recover. There's nothing to recover from. Intrusive thought is part of the activity of the brain, is part of being alive, part of being a human being, part of having been a recipient of this fucked up brain that we all got one 40,000 years ago. I mean, our ancestors got one. Human being, the species, didn't have this kind of a brain who could think and speak until 40,000 years ago. We had stem brain, reptilian brain. Everything was instinct: running, hunting, eating, sleeping, having sex, all instinctive. No thinking was involved. So that's why we didn't have intrusive thoughts, because there was no thinking ability. Intrusive thoughts is about thoughts. It's nothing real about it. It's just thoughts. But because brain is so powerful, when it thinks, conjure up something, then it has the ability to actually affect a bodily reaction. And that bodily reaction becomes an evidence to you that, oh, the thought was correct. No, it's just a malfunction. The thought was not correct. It's just going through a malfunction in the signaling system. And you got to understand that this intrusive thoughts is a byproduct of having this kind of a sophisticated brain, which we never had it until 40,000 years ago. And it's still in the making. It's in progress. Work in progress. It's not perfect. It's not complete. It's got lots of glitches. That's why we have so many mental issues among people on Earth. Beside all the other abuses that we each, including governments and so on and so forth, inflict on ourselves that causes all these mental issues, the brain itself has a quality that is for going rogue and malfunctioning, which creates more of it mental issues. So, welcome, bienvenue. This is what humanity is. We're all fucked up, and that's not really, our own doing. Just faulty, faulty. What is it? Spare parts. faulty part of the faulty parts. That's it. Oh, something foggy with me tonight. I can't even think. All right. And then he says, because I was diagnosed with many things, which OCD till these days don't make sense to me. Yeah, well, it doesn't, because you're trying to rationalize it. You're trying to find a reason for it. It's a malfunction. There's no reason. There's nothing wrong with you. There's something wrong with this. And this, the brain, and you are two separate systems. You think if something wrong with this or what this conjures up is you. No, there is a you and there's a brain. Watch the other videos that I've produced and you become more aware of what we're talking about. Otherwise, I'll go on for 2 hours and there would be no live stream. It's just private chat. You guys know that I have a site, mindthatseekstruth.com. You're more than welcome to go on the site, mindthatseekstruth.com, and make an appointment for a Skype consultation. Then we can explore one-on-one on Skype what's concerning you. For new clients, when you make a 1-hour consultation appointment, I'll throw in another hour on that very session. We'll have 2 hours to discuss what's concerning you one-on-one on Skype. And we have Christian Vasilev. Says, hello again. I'm Christian, 16 years old, and I want to ask, how do you forgive yourself from something you've done to a person, context, the person forgave you? No, you don't have to forgive yourself because you didn't contemplate to hurt someone. You made a decision, you made a reaction, you made a action, and you didn't think it through what its actuality of effect would be on that person's psyche or on that person's life or how it would affect that person. You were just reacting on something that you thought you need to do to elevate yourself or make your ego happy about you. So you did that. Now, instead of thinking about forgiving yourself, learn from it and analyze it. Say, that was actually not a good decision. And I could have thought it through further and I would have made a different decision. Because at the time you make a decision, at the time one makes a decision, one believes that that decision is correct. Otherwise, one wouldn't make it. Because with the amount of information and the emotional state that you might be, at that moment, that's all the information available to you. And based on that, you make a decision. Later on, more information will come to light, or you see the effect of the decision, of the action that you made, and you don't find it palatable. And so that was a bad decision based on the actuality of the result of it that I can see now, that I didn't think about it before I committed to make that action. But that's all afterwards. You didn't have that information, that experience, and that wisdom when you were making the decision. Therefore, really, you can learn from it to next time ponder deeper, think deep, and judge well before you put something to action and commit to doing something. So that's basically it. If you think you have to forgive yourself, how do I forgive myself? It's not really that you want to forgive yourself. You want to look good in front of the watcher that you have created out of your own thoughts, that you think it's watching and judging you. Now you want to say something and act in such a way that that watcher that you've created out of your own thought, that you think it's observing you, would say, what a good girl. What a good person. That's a good quality. Okay, then you hope that that watcher, whatever entity it is that you've conjured up, is going to be favorable to you, because you have been submitting and feeling sorry, and you want to say sorry to somebody, and instead you think you got to forgive yourself. That's pretty much all there is to do about it. If you talk to the person and the person is no longer upset at you, and you apologize for the lack of judgment or the behavior that shouldn't have been made, and he or she has said, hey, don't worry about it, I'm cool about it now, it's okay, thank you for letting me know, that's the end of it. Now you're creating another thing. That's a bit of a selfishness and attention-seeking way of thinking, that you say, oh, he or she, my friend, has forgiven me, but now I must be tougher than others on myself. Why? Because you think some watcher is judging you, and I should show that I'm a really good person. So I repent. It's all attention-seeking and a bit of a selfishness. So let that go, learn from the lesson, off you go. Don't be too harsh on yourself. Just make better decisions next time. All right. Mazakaral says, how was the fireworks display in Vancouver? Didn't see much. There were some sounds when I was walking on the beach that night. As usual, take my walk at night. But I didn't see any fireworks, really, I think. Because everything was canceled here. Because of the danger. So no get together, no reason for people gathering, and all the rest of the bullshit. Some bastards who are benefiting from all the sales of all these shits that they're pushing, the rest of the people have their lives upside down. So we didn't have much of a sparkle in the skies. Jeffrey said, good lol trick. I watched games, tears of Triskelion last night. I don't know what that is. I actually watched American Sniper last night. The American Sniper in Iraq. It was an intense movie. And it was very well made, showing the actuality of conflicts and wars and how many people are perished from both sides and so quickly. In a few moments, few minutes, things escalate. And then people die for nothing or for something, and they lose limbs and so on. So it was a pretty intense movie. Cap says, State. I'm about 15 minutes away from Everett. Oh, really? I went to Seattle U at one time for English. I spent about 2-3 months there. Stayed in Seattle U dormitory. Well, actually, it was ELS, but it was right in Seattle U campus. And then I went to Portland for actual university, which I was accepted to go to. So what was the street? I think the tram was called Cherry Blossom Avenue or Cherry Avenue, something like that. That's where our school was, Seattle U was. So cool. Jeffrey says, Gamesters. Oh, I don't know that. All right. Alex says, indeed. Oh, okay, we got that. Oh, okay, we got that. Alex Shaffin Lifestyle says, Maywan is our hero. Why? Really? Thank you very much. Well, what for? What have I done? Cap says, my main fear is with HOCD. You know what's going to destroy us? Fear. There's nothing else. It's not what you're afraid of. It's the feeling of fear that you actually really should focus on, not to be bothered. Because out of the fear and not wanting to constantly deal with the feeling that the fear brings to, you may actually start believing in anything. It's like a salesman that tries to sell you, I don't know, something that you have no need for it or no interest. But because every time it calls and rings the bell, I say, fuck, okay. Because I don't want to have that anxiety and fear anymore. That's what you could be watching out. You should be watching out. And you should be reading through it all, and the jig should come up, and you should be free from being bamboozled by the brain creating, suggesting all these things that annoys you and creates fear in your heart. And from the fear, you say, maybe I should accept it. Not because you actually are in line or accepting whatever is suggested, because you don't want that fear feeling anymore. That's what you should be watching out, because there's nothing else. There's nothing else that is actually threatening you. Nothing. It's the fear that bugs the hell out of you. Once you get over that, I'm not afraid of anything. Nothing can do anything to me. Nothing can change me. All these feelings and things that I can feel is because of the malfunction of the brain. And you educate yourself of that. Then therefore, it wouldn't be an instrument of fear. That's why people do things. Look at what happened today in this world. People have done lots of things out of fear. There is no science behind it. There's so much information out there that they all point toward different directions than what the narrative is, but they've done what they were pushed and forced and encouraged to do out of enough fear. They gave up doing something that they didn't agree with because they didn't want the fear to continue, not because they believed that that thing is actually has merits. Watch for that in everything in your life. It is the fear that is the problem. And that comes from thoughts. And as Jiddu Krishnamurti says, thoughts are the roots of all problems. Fears are created by thoughts. Don't believe your thoughts. Then you have a chance not to be affected by fear. Once you believe your thoughts, then the fear sets in when the thoughts are not favorable. And then from the fear, you go downhill. You're controlled by any entity that created that fear in your heart. Now you believe that fear can only go away if you comply and do what they say, whoever it is that created that fear. That's the psychological process of it. So little by little, you lose yourself and you become instrument of others, that you will do what you're told because you don't want the fear. All right. All right. Mako says, but I was diagnosed with OCD by doctor. Sure, okay, so you were diagnosed. So what's the big deal? You can handle it. You can learn, educate yourself, and know how to understand. What do you think OCD is? A malfunction of the signaling system of the brain. What are you talking about? Just because you've been diagnosed, that means then it's what? It's a microbe. It's some kind of a what? It's a malfunction. You've been diagnosed. So they say to you, yeah, you've got OCD, which is malfunction of the signaling system of the brain. And there are many discussions on that. And one is, where's the root of OCD? The root of OCD is in search for psychological security. Both body and mind are looking for security. Body finds security in physicality, safe environment. Mind doesn't find security in physical safety. It finds its security in certain beliefs and rituals and occupation and busyness and being able to do things that would convince him that, okay, I'm safe. Not by physicality, that I'm in the good area of town, in my apartment door is locked, so I'm safe. That's not how the brain, how the mind, I use the word brain and mind in this particular discussion as one, otherwise brain and mind are two different things. So yeah, you have OCD, now learn how to deal with it and manage it and rewire your brain. What does that mean? I had OCD since childhood, all kinds of it, for heaven's sake. But I never labeled it, didn't know it's supposed to be labeled or anything. I didn't. So I thought, oh, that's what it is. I went through the steps of dealing whatever it was. I had to wash my hands 5 million times, wash my hand 5 million times. I had to check the door, this and that. I did all that because I didn't know. I didn't have the education of it. I was a kid. Hmm? And of course, I was old school. As I grew up, I decided to somehow learn how to deal with this. And I did, and eventually got rid of them. But when I got educated and educated myself in regards to the role of the psyche and role of the brain and the striatum and the caudate nucleus and amygdala and all that, then suddenly everything started making sense of why this thing actually comes about. So you're diagnosed with OCD, so big deal. Go educate yourself. All the material is available. I've put hundreds of videos on OCD and HOCD and links of experts such as Dr. Philipson, Dr. Jan Weiner, Dr. Schwartz, Dr. Owens, and reports from the works of Dr. Libet, Dr. Speary, Dr. Penfield, based on the report that Dr. Egnar makes, all kinds of things. Neuroscience, modern science have proven the separation between brain and you. And you learn from it, educate yourself, and deal with it. Don't roll over and die. So Blasted says, oh, you're talking to somebody else. Okay. Alex Sefin says, agree with this. Okay. I don't remember what it was that you're agreeing with. Because by the time I get to your questions, I'm already finished talking. And yeah, so blasted, you don't need to know. If you don't know it, then you're in good place. Don't worry about it. Mako says, oh, thank you, sir. You're quite welcome. Alex says, courage is a key. Go with whatever is happening. Do what you want. Okay. And do not care about your thoughts and see. That's right. Mm-hmm. My website, so blasted, it's Mind That Seeks Truth. www.mindthatseekstruth.com. Here you can see table of content of the books that I've written. And you can acquire the e-version, ebooks, very nominal fees to them because the paper version is very expensive, very heavy. There are lots of pages and shipping is included, so it's expensive. But I've turned them into ebooks, so for a tenth of a price, you can have the book. I highly recommend Me, My Psyche, and I. And you can also make an appointment with me for Skype consultation from my site, which I'll put the link down here, and here it comes. Okay, now, Christian Vasiliev says, thanks for that. Maybe my therapist is really saying the truth. What? Oh, I missed something. Christian says, thanks for that. Maybe my therapist is really saying the truth about attention. Okay, I guess I missed one message here because I don't see it. Christopher Khatar says, I believe these thoughts are coming. Okay. Because I've been dealing with lots of stress lately due to my final exam before I graduate with a bachelor in instruction engineering. Yeah, it doesn't matter what, why, when, stress. Yeah, of course, it's always about that. It's always about the brain is trying to find security through occupation, through business, because mind doesn't find security through physicality, safe physical environment. Finds security through occupation and business, and when you're stressed, it just goes rogue and starts thinking about things that you have no interest in. It's just trying to create that anxiety, and because it's stressed, it's easier for it to create that anxiety through all kind of things that is irrelevant to you. But amygdala becomes overactive and creates some emotional danger signals that is irrelevant, and then prefrontal cortex tries to come up with a scenario to match the emotional danger signals that came up that has no narrative. So it creates a narrative. How? Based on what's most important to you and what your identity is and what's most sacred to you. So it attacks that. It says, because that must be what these emotional danger signals are coming from, because there's nothing else more important than this topic for this person. So brings about that kind of a narrative. And then you see the narrative and say, this dangerous signal that came up is because this narrative is true. This narrative didn't even exist. The danger signal came because there's a malfunction in amygdala. It's overactive. But the narrative was made after this was sent. Now you're using the narrative to say, this is why it was sent. That's bamboozles you and steers you wrong. And Lugani says 24 May, London. Salam and Happy New Year, Muallim Mehran. Thank you very much, Indulugani. Happy New Year as well, dear. Cap says Seattle U is cool. My uncle went there. Okay. Anonymous says, sir, I saw a video on HOCD with other YouTube. Yeah. Well, you can see many videos and they try to do ERP or suggest that. And that's one kind of a tactic and technique for that, what you heard. But you can't be just picking up one thing here. I heard this, I saw that video, that YouTuber said this. Just go to the experts' links, such as Dr. Schwartz, Dr. Philipson, Dr. Jan Rayner. Learn and educate yourself about these disorders and these glitches, and then choose a psychologist who is expert in OCD and OCD subsets, and then discuss the matters with them and let them help you to become more educated on that topic and rewire your brain. And as easy as that. One of the worst things you can do is just jump from this or that and hear this and that video and that article, and you're just going to confuse the hell out of yourself. Go for proper understanding and educating yourself the roots of these problems, these challenges. It's not your biological problem, it's a mental issue. And you learn about this mental issue and then learn how to rewire the brain. Otherwise, you'll be going round and round and don't know who says what to believe, what not to believe, and you get confused for nothing. No, Alex. In fact, they could make it worse. When you use these mind enhancing drugs such as weed and all that, there are many people who actually got that glitch once they were high. Because the brain loses its organizational sequence, I guess. I don't know how it works, but somehow it affects them and they get into a glitch, and now they got to deal with that. It's just a malfunction now, whether it's induced by some substance, or just the neurons gone wacko, and synaptic neurons are just simply connecting weirdly or not connecting, or there's a space between them as far as glitch between them. So don't just understand what it is and deal with it, rather than trying to cure it through all kinds of these mind enhancing drugs. It's not there's no scientific base to it at all. Don't get to a position that you think it would be sound like you're scared of falling from a tip of the cliff, and you say, let me jump so I won't be scared anymore. So you end up doing some stupid, crazy things, using weed to cure it, jolted out in your own thinking. You've got no scientific basis on that. Esoteric says, hi, male 25, first relationship. Where from? Which country? Which city? Esoteric says, I broke up with my ex because of incompatibilities. In the last 3 months of our relationship, she was going through a rough time and had no drive. We stayed in contact after I broke up because she said she needed support, didn't have friends. We decided to tell each other if we were seeing someone else. She hid that she was casually seeing someone else. I saw their explicit sexual messages. How do I stop feeling inadequate? Inadequate? What are you, fucking out of your mind? Just because some chick goes and sleeps with somebody else, that makes you inadequate? What the hell does that mean? How could that mean anything? The choice of somebody else is going to define your value? You broke up. You didn't lose your brain. The part that works, of course, because all our brains are fucked up anyhow. So, so if a girl decides to sleep with somebody else, you're devaluated. And if she decides to sleep with you, you're evaluated. That's as simple as that. So she must be the center of value. She must be very wise, very educated, know it all, and everything about it. Yeah. How come she's not capable of being self-sufficient? At least not until she's finished education and got a career and built something. Why doesn't it happen so easy automatically for her? Well, if she's the one who gives value and takes value away just by sleeping with someone and not sleeping by her choices, then she must be center of the value. So if that's the case, when she sleeps with you, then suddenly you should walk in the street the next day and be offered the job of being president of, I don't know, some big corporation, because you're now valuable. You slept with this girl, and this girl's choice of who she sleeps with will evaluate people and devaluate the ones that are not having the chance to sleep with her. Is that how your mentality is, really? Is that how you're going to go through life? Others will set your value by giving or not giving a certain facilitation of pleasure. If your desire for pleasure is fulfilled, you're valuable. If it's not fulfilled, you're devaluable. Devaluable? Devaluated. Don't piss me off. I'm going to get the ugly stick, and I'm going to run after you until I bash this over your head, jog your brain to think correctly. Nah. That's a reflection on her, not you. What she does is a reflection on her. She's the one who's doing it. What she does and her choices is not a reflection on you, your value, your whatever else. Just because there's something about her that you want, sensuality, sexuality, companionship, attention, and all that, that that doesn't mean that you become devaluated if she chooses not to have sex with you or not to be a boyfriend girlfriend with you. 25 years old, you still got a way to go to learn about yourself and have confidence about that. Your confidence comes from your accomplishment, not from who gives you this or that or not from attaining pleasure. The thing is that used to Cap says, okay, you're talking. Okay. All right. Lindsay says, I like your video about how when people break up with you, it means they need to work on themselves. There you go. Thank you for that, Lindsay. Esoteric says Toronto. Okay, thank you. Raju says, hi, I'm 33 years old, male from India. Hello, Raju. Esoteric says, she told me she has no sex drive. It doesn't matter what she says, what she doesn't. What if she had sex drive for for a horse? How would you think about yourself then? Oh my goodness, she has sex drive for a horse, but doesn't have for me. Does that devalue you or evaluate you? What does that do? You don't think of it in that way at all because, whatever, that's her taste. She's weird. Or whatever you say, you just don't attribute it to you. But when it's another human being, suddenly you say, oh, that means he's better than me. Why? Because she's giving it to him, not to me. And that means I'm less than that guy. So your worth and value is based on what decision this girl makes as far as sensuality and sexuality to be with you or not be with you. That's how you roll in this life. That's what your value is based on what she decides. Really? Think about it. Think about it a little bit. You're limiting yourself to somebody else's whims or wishes. Why is it not her own reflection on her own way of being? Why is it reflection on you? What you do is reflection on you. What others do is reflection on them. So she goes out with that one. That means she's got a shitty taste. Why? Because if she has you and gives it to somebody else, you should be thinking, well, I'm the top of the line. If she can't appreciate me, well, that means forget her. I don't want her because she's not qualified. That's how you should think. That's realistically speaking, because it's about you. You're the most important person in this world as far as you're concerned. So why could somebody else set your value? You set your value based on your vetoes and choices and accomplishments in life, not based on other people's choices and decisions. Separate desire for pleasure from your affirmation and value, and then you'll be fine. Raju says, how to accept horrible, intrusive thoughts. I feel guilty accepting them. Why? They're not your responsibility. They're made by brain. It's not your choice that they're there. Brain's job is to make thoughts, 80, 90,000 thoughts a day. So it makes thoughts. Some of them you notice, some of them you don't notice. The ones you notice, you may find them very offensive to you, to your values. And so that's what they are. It's got nothing to do with you. Why should you have to take responsibility for them? It doesn't mean just because you notice them, you've accepted them. You can accept thoughts can exist. That's perfectly normal because everything in this world exists. I accept everything exists, but that doesn't mean accepting things existing in this world. That doesn't mean that it's my values or I have any interest in them. There's so many things I see in the street is irrelevant to me. I'm not interested in any of them, but I accept that they can exist because they belong to other people. That's their choice. That's their lifestyle. That's their preferences. What does it have to do with me? If some intrusive thought shows up in my head, I understand that the brain makes thoughts, and thoughts could be of all kind, but they're irrelevant to me. So I'm the ocean. Thoughts are like the ships. The ships travel on the ocean, but no matter what they're carrying, they're not going to change the ocean. If they're carrying wood, the ocean is not going to turn into a forest. Ocean is still ocean. It's a passage for these ships to pass by. And the ocean is not going to stop them, investigate them, send the Coast Guard, find out what they're carrying. This says, no, come on, pass by. The sooner you go, the more free I am to enjoy my sceneries. So ocean understands that this is a passage in these ships. I accept these ships can come and pass by. That's all. But I don't accept what they're carrying because it's none of my business. I don't care. I make my own decision. Same thing with you. You're the ocean. And thoughts are ships. You allow them to come and pass by. You don't need to hang on to them, investigate them, interpret them, find out what they mean, where they come from. I don't give a shit. It's a brain. It's not me. It makes thoughts. I'm the ocean. I don't change by the topic of the thoughts. Doesn't do anything to me. I allow them to come and go. I accept thoughts to exist and to come and go. That's it. That's the end of that. All right. Mike says, Marin, how can I start ERP for intrusive thoughts? And where do I start? Well, make an appointment with your favorite psychologist who's specializing in OCD and HOCD, and they're experts in ERP and so on. And then have them, go through that, see if that's time for you to do that. On public forums, I don't necessarily discuss that. All right. P. Irlo says, hi, dear Meran. What do you think about a 27-year-old female from traditional family who was always talking about getting married and having children, now wants to leave her very good job and travel? Why not? That's what she wants to do. So whether it's traditional or not traditional, that's what she wants to do. Fearless is for someone or some tom, so called to find herself. To find herself, well, give her a map. Say you're here. Found yourself? Find myself. Yeah. Okay. Let her go find herself. Um, Raju says, do you have intrusive thoughts, Meron? How do you have so much understanding about them? Because I had OCD all my life and I tried to figure out eventually when I got older that, okay, so far I thought these is annoying, but let me find out how I can get rid of them. What are they? How to understand them. So I was old school. I only thought of them as bad thoughts, never interpret them to have a label or a conclusion. Oh, this means this, that means that. But then eventually, and I got rid of them pretty much. And then when I learned about the education of the science of it, the psychology of it, through my research and experiences since, I don't know, years and years ago, through understanding the movement of the psyche and the components and the role of thoughts and consciousness and relationship between the two, fear, desire, ego, mechanical process, order, routine of life, all these things, and then neuroscience studies as far as research of the scholars and their experiences and the neurosurgeons and learning about the philosophical point of views and scientific point of views and finding that they all eventually cross each other and come to a certain understanding, the clarity, and then understanding or science of habits, understanding the different compartments of the brain and how they affect each other, how they malfunction, and so on and so forth. Then eventually, after years of this, of intense research and your experiences and inwardly discovering the movement of the psyche, you learn and it becomes apparent to you what to pay attention to. What now? It's like saying I'm driving. There's lots of potholes and different debris and garbage and flowers and stuff that I'm interested in, the stuff that I'm not interested in, all on the road. But after a while, you become very expert in maneuvering your car or your vehicle toward the places that you enjoy being and avoid and ignore the places that you're not without paying attention to the things that you're not interested in. You're just paying attention to where you want to drive your car, where it is safe for it to go, where it is pleasant for you to drive and enjoy the scenery. So pretty much it becomes automatic rather than, oh, that's a pothole. I got to watch for it. How deep is it? Oh, my tire will fall into it. None of that. You just say, okay, that is not what I'm looking for. I don't care what it is. All I care is that it's not what my values or what my preference or the way I want to drive my car is. I just recognize that's not what I want to drive beside. So I maneuver out. But I'm not going to investigate to what is it? Why is it here? What does it do? What does it mean? None of that. I just know that's not in the category of my interest. So I maneuver my car somewhere that I intend to go. Same thing with thoughts. I don't investigate, oh, what it means. Okay, I just recognize it's in the category of the thoughts that I don't welcome them. That's it. Then I move on to thoughts that it's positive for me or it makes what I want to accomplish on that day come to fruition. So, in other words, automatically you just simply focus on what it is that you want to focus and you don't focus on the things that you don't want to focus, regardless of without wanting to know what it is that you don't want to focus. You just know it's not part of the category that I'm interested in. So, in this way, you're depriving the thoughts from attention and the brain gets rewired that it keeps maneuvering away from this. That means not interested in these. I can't get a rise out of him. I can't get his attention by these sort of thoughts. So it starts making them less and less and less. And if it does come about again, you know exactly what they are. So you don't freak out. You just continue your skillful maneuvering techniques. And you focus on what it is that is pleasant to you, and naturally the other things dissipate. Mhm. Ah, I see, esoteric. All right. Once the session is, our live stream is ended here, I will Skype you to set up a time. If not tonight, I'll Skype you tomorrow and we'll fine tune the time. Let me see if I have your Skype here. Yeah, it's just a number, yeah? Okay. And Shahza. That's a Persian name, is it? Shahzaib Gil. Gil is not a Persian last name, but the first one could be. So anyhow, I will send you a. Okay. I just put that number in, but I don't see any. I don't see the Skype working. So it doesn't recognize that address. Because on the Skype ID, you have a bunch of numbers, 7 numbers. But Skype doesn't recognize that. So maybe kindly you send me Skype, or maybe you just simply I email you with my Skype, and you can send me an invitation then. So getting back to Mike, all these information that you're asking, they're all in the form of video, hundreds, like few hundred videos I have on OCD and HOCD. So you got to search in the search engine of my channel the topic that you want, one word, whatever that word may be, and you'll see the videos that are available with that word in them, and then you will choose. Otherwise, you can go and make an appointment with me for a Skype consultation, and then we'll discuss in detail specific topics that you want to talk about. AB says, hi, Mehran. Hello, AB. Says, your video have helped me in the past. Thank you. So I thank you for your content. You're quite welcome, AB, and thank you for sharing that with us. Don't forget, let me know of your age, gender, where you're tuning in from. AB says, I'm currently struggling with the breakup with my GF of 8 years. I'm really broken and struggling to eat and sleep. Well, I suggest you go on Skype, make an appointment with me, and then we'll discuss what's concerning you in detail, one-on-one on Skype, because this wouldn't be the place to do that on that topic. Polly Merrill, again, is one of those visitors that has some kind of a coded, says VOI.FYI. I don't understand what that means. There's some of these codes coming in now and then on the live stream, but I don't know what it means. Guys, it's 1 hour and 11 minutes, and it's time for me to wrap it up. And Raju says how to book Skype session with you. Just go to my site, mind@6truth.com. The link is up there. And then it'll guide you through. When it says talk to Mehran via Skype, you can click on that and it puts you through the packages and things like that, see what works for you. So guys, it's time for me to say I love you all. Thank you very much for being here and giving me the opportunity to share a thing or two with you. I look forward to talk to you again through one of the other live streams. And in the meantime, be good to yourself and to the others. I'll talk to you soon. Bye for now. Subscribe on my channel, visit my channel, and go through the videos that you might be interested in, mind@seekstruth.com is making it one step away to talk to me one-on-one on Skype and discuss what's concerning you. I'll talk to you soon. But we too, like the iceberg, have 1,000 times bigger powers that is not visible, and we must. Why? Is it something we're rambling on and I expect you to accept it? Or is there actually another power within us? Would you come and help me out? Okay. What I want you to do is put your hands underneath my arms and just lift me up. There we go. Okay, now, that's my physical part, right? Same thing, again, with that. Just want to see if there's any difference. Go ahead. Now, go ahead. Now, this, go ahead, when you're ready.
Go ahead.
So you see, this is different than what he was doing, and I'm not really doing anything. You're convinced?
Yeah.
So are you guys convinced that there is something other than, thank you. Thank you very much.